Okay, we're back. And we are going to now show you the nice, simple, easy way to fix America. Because America has got to be pretty easy to fix, all things considered. Congratulations, we've won America. We've won an election in America. Marvelous. Or we bought one, whatever. Doesn't matter. The thing is, so America's got an income of like $1 trillion. And it's got outgoing just a little bit higher than that. But here's the thing. We go over to government spending, and America is spending quite a flipping lot on defense. All things considered, like quite a flipping lot over there. If we go over there, like that's more than is needed. Because like America spends like more than the rest of the world put together, right? That's the big fact about America. It's like more than the rest of the world put together. That's true, right, Claire?
Yeah.
I think that's true. So what we probably want to do, yeah, what's the income expenditure? The gap that we've got to fill is about 200, about 150 odd billion there. And clearly the problem is crime. Crime is a problem. That was flagged to us at the beginning. The problems we've got to deal with are the crime rate being high, budget for police and prisons being low. So we basically, if we can just take some money out of the military, put it into the police instead, and then just take the rest as a bit of profit into the debt, and then just slowly support education, that should be fine. That should be absolutely a-okay. So that's kind of where my starting point here for this is. So that's insufficient. That's completely insufficient. And intelligence is just about sufficient. Okay, adequate budget. We've knocked about 100 billion out of the military budget. But that's fine. And we're going to just slowly start putting that instead into the police. Completely insufficient policing right now. So we're going to spend a little bit of money on that and we're going to get crime down. And America is still absolutely adequate and capable of taking on everyone else in the world. So we're going to do that. Now that's going to cause an immediate hit. Absolutely. But when crime starts coming down and corruption starts coming down, it'll be worth it. Okay? Police help us fighting crime. Well, we're working on that. We're working on it right now. My approval rating's tanked a bit, probably modelling the fact that US people like, military and whatever, but that's fine. We're going to give some interviews and perform a media stunt to sort things out a bit. And once this all sorts out, look at that. The spending gap is already almost completely closed up there. That's marvellous. So now, I'm going to put the rest of this, I'm going to put loads of this extra money now and spend my political capital, basically, funding the police and the prison service. Mm-hmm. Which is absolutely what we need to do here. I need to spend I'm whacking all my political capital into this, and it's still not even close to being adequate right about now. So I just need to spend all my political capital just on that right now. We just need to keep doing that. That's all I want to do. I just want to keep whacking up into police, get crime down. Because once crime comes down, presume it's going to have a good, positive knock-on effect to the economy. So the PR burst helped out. Amount of debt in this country is intolerable. I'm the one who's actually got the flipping debt ratio into a good situation right now. Population growth is going down. Shadow economy is ticking up a little bit. Education is not looking great. Let's have a quick review of everything here. Approval rating just spiked slightly there off the back of all the PR stuff. Population's okay. That is looking very healthy. That's looking healthy. Debt is going up, but it's going to be relatively slowly. Gross domestic product's ticking up here. Where are other problems that we've actually got here? GDP per capita just has gone up amazingly. I don't know what I even did there, but okay, apparently I just did. Economic growth is looking in good shape. Unemployment's okay. Crime rate's not good, but as we bring the police in, we'll be able to start getting that under control. Just keep whacking some more money into the police. The people are really resistant to me whacking up the police spending. It's up to insufficient, but it's not very poor. So okay, just keep whacking up. Just spend all my political capital just using my military savings, whacking it into the police. That's gotta have a knock-on effect positively to the economy in the long run. Debt to GDP ratio is improving, which is good. Unemployment rate now improving for 9 months.
Very, very good.
I'm not too sure why that happened. Because I just made a whole bunch of people unemployed. But it seems to be under control regardless. So I haven't caused a massive spike in unemployment by firing a load of people from the military, which is fine. Now crime should start ticking down. Yeah, look at that. Crime's starting to tick down. Now we also need to invest heavily in the prison system. That is true. So we've got just about enough in... Yeah, we've got just about enough in police right now. The prisons need a boost too. But but that is harder to do because people don't like spending that. So we're just going to massively whack that up as well, and I'm just going to move straight on. We're just going to whack all our money into prisons and police until crime starts going down significantly. I want to get that. Is the opposition trustworthy? No, of course they are not. Good news, everyone. Crime rate is getting better. Now, we're not going to talk about gun control in the US just yet, but we might slowly...
Oh, good, because the chat is definitely talking about that.
Excellent. We're not going to do that just yet. We're just going to... First, we're going to fund the police properly, because if you've got, like, a big pool of money and some of it's going to go to the military and some of it's going to the police is going to be the one that's probably going to improve the standard of life for you personally the most. And we're just going to give the police more money. And the prisons a bit more money as well. So now the prisons can be up to just enough. Perfect. Okay, so now we need to figure out where else are we spending money that the US doesn't need to be spending money at this exact moment in time. Transport budget is adequate. Security budget is adequate. We've already been looking at that. Social security is just enough. We don't want to hack that any further down, to be honest. Military, we could take a tiny bit more out. Which armed force do you like the least? Like, which do you think is the worst? Like, you know, does the Navy bug you being like, haha, we've got boats? Like...
Not particularly, no.
Like, do you need boats? Like, what happens if you're attacking a nation that doesn't have a shore? Cocking useless. Science is just enough, but I think we could probably... Apparently the space program is insufficient. I'm not sure insufficient for what? Like, getting into space, I suppose? Drinking water. Yep, let's get some excellent quality drinking water. No more bad water anywhere. And culture, sports and leisure, and playgrounds for children. There we go. Culture, museums. Yeah, culture. Let's increase culture spending just a tiny bit there. There we go. Right, lovely. Now, keep that going up. Now, there should now be enough police and prisons floating around to sort out the crime. So the crime should start ticking down pretty quickly. Okay, let's admit we have a problem. State of infrastructure. Yep, US infrastructure can be a bit on the dodgy side. Economic growth is still positive at 1.5%, which I'd say is in a positive place. So I'm going to go over to the stats here and keep an eye on that. Economic growth at... It's not as high as it once was, but 1.5 is still okay. It's still in a decent position. GDP is weirdly going up really fast, which is fine. The debt is going up too, income expenditure. The expenditure is going up as we've increased spending on other stuff. So right now, the deficit is about just over 100 billion. Just over 100 billion. Oh no, we've got the information right there. So I need to find 100 billion to take out somewhere. Or, okay, hang on. Let's go over to spending here. Where's there 100 billion we can just hack out? Social security. That seems like that's quite about expensive over there. Unemployment benefits, health insurance, pensions, and family support non-existent.
Wow.
Did you just not have any child benefits?
I don't know, but they have like really, really bad, like, you know, maternity and paternity leave. I mean, they just don't have it. Like, it's quite bad.
Okay. Now, if I have to throw one group of people under the bus, it's going to be old people. Because old people don't actually, you know, have jobs. They're, like, retired and stuff. So we're going to throw old people under the bus by cutting pensions by 40-odd%. That's going to pretty much close that up. And sure, some people might not like that, but it's not going to actually negatively hit the economy because they're not contributing anyway. And hopefully they'll die. Because if they die, then that's fine. Right.
Anyway, that reflects on America.
Yeah, let's now at this point just we can get ourselves in some new laws potentially if we want to. That's taxes. Do you want to let's get a new law in? What law do we want? What sort of law do you think would be good? Oh, we could bring in that small business subsidies thing.
Yeah.
That's good. And as it's America, sooner or later we can make, you know, vaccination compulsory.
We're going to save so many children.
Yeah, so let's bring in that, just, you know, as a small thing. Just small business subsidies, just 0.5%, the default suggested. So we're just going to support small businesses. And we've just knocked a whole bunch out of pensions. So that's going to get that deficit down again. So we've taken money away from, like, army and old people. And we've given it instead. There we are. Jet GDP ratio is now doing okay. Life expectancy improving 15 months. Well, the pensions haven't kicked in yet. We'll see about that. Income. Oh, we're close. It's close. It's flipping close. Okay, now we just need to make some money. Like, at this point, the debt's barely going to go up at all. So we can basically just say, screw it. We now need to just basically focus on growth. So if we can just get economic growth up, because economic growth it's still growing, but it could be growing faster. And the crime rate is going down. Not good, but it's going in the right direction. I think the police have got enough to crack on with. Though we might want to give the police just a tiny bit more adequate. I might just want to give you a little bit.
Prison and intelligence life? Sorry.
Adequate. I'm going to move them into sufficient because I don't know what the difference between adequate and sufficient is, but screw it. Let's get that up. So that's fine. Yeah, they're now going to both be sufficient. Just a tiny bit of a boost for both of them to get sufficient. Let's go over to law, see if we can create a new law that's going to sort them out. Like, don't need anti-corruption. Corruption's fine. Yeah, screw it. Let's get my personal bugbear out the way. I'm getting some strict penalties.
Very strict.
Very strict, fine. Claire gets the veto there. Right, compulsory vaccinations, because screw it, you're getting vaccinated, because, you know, measles was shit, and we're not having it back. You know, it took a long time to get rid of it. GDP per capita is now very good, which is excellent. Mortality rate is improving. Corruption rate is improving. There we are. State of infrastructure getting worse. Okay. That's fine. In fact, actually, has the income just come in slightly? Hang on, statistics over to income and expenditure. Yeah, we're pretty much, you know, we're pretty much spending within our means here. So let's go over to government spending on infrastructure. Where's the infrastructure spending? So infrastructure, electricity, gas, telephone, internet. Okay, so we've already put a bit into the internet, yeah, but we might need to also add banking, finance, fax, and tax and currency systems apparently.
Fax.
You know, we need to put all the money into the fax infrastructure. Faxes are this. That's the way people are going to communicate in the future. We can do another press burst. We're 100% fine right now, so we can do another just burst of media stunts. Actually, we'll hold off the media stunt, but we will do interviews and public talks to talk about how amazing we are, because this is going pretty cocking well.
Are you going to break it by banning guns?
I'm not going to ban guns yet. Apparently, I could ban guns for only 3 points.
That does not stack. That seems about as crazy as you can just get rid of pensions in France and like unions for 2 points.
Screw it. Alright, guns are now banned and very strict punishment has now been brought in. There we go. As well as compulsory vaccination. Excellent. Completely insufficient on the bikeways. Well, let's guess. Oh, bloody hell. Okay.
Wow.
Wow, okay. They're fine with me taking their guns, but if I try and spend an extra 50 million on cycleways. Cocking hell. Get the bicycles and throw them into the Boston Harbour.
Can you implement a single-payer healthcare system?
Oh, crikey.
I don't know.
What an idea. Well, right now we've got medical infrastructure to support people with medical problems. This is basically the equivalent of what's called like Medicaid or whatever, Medicare. That one.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so we can boost that. And I think there's also, we can... In the laws, there's health insurance, so we can introduce cost reduction for health insurance. So we could we could just make like insurance more affordable. I don't think we can set up universal healthcare. So that's one thing you can do in Democracy 3 you can't do here. But I'm just going to slightly boost the cost reduction, because we can afford to do that a little bit by 10% to make medicine more affordable. And people are going to get less sick, so we've made vaccination compulsory. So that's fine. Now, which taxes could we potentially just, you know, slightly... I mean, this is a bit odd, because, of course, I think, like, in the US, sales tax is set at a federal level, not at the national level. But they've kind of simplify that a little bit on this occasion.
Is there a wealth tax at all, or is it just
there is no wealth? There is not a wealth tax. No.
You can have a tiny wealth tax.
No, I'm not touching tax right now. Okay?
Okay.
Things are going well. Okay, things are going well. We're stimulating the things that need stimulating. Okay, like a really well-designed sex toy. So we just need to like, look at that crime rate. The crime rate is falling through the floor. Life expectancy is going up. The government can't protect you from crime. Well, the government's literally protecting you from crime. Okay, what's the corruption? Corruption rate's falling. Crime rate's falling. Approval rate is going up. Mortality rate is going. Is it good or bad if mortality rate goes down? We're halfway through the term. I've banned guns. And that's fine. Everyone's cool with that, which is rather odd. But we've banned guns.
Don't worry, everyone is not cool with that in the chat.
We had the approval points to do it. So I've banned all the guns and crime's going down. So that pretty much proves that was a good idea. But mysteriously, like, nothing upsets the people in the US more. Like, if I want to get cycleways up to insufficient funding, it takes 448. What the fuck's wrong with you, game? I think there might be a problem at the back end of this game where it's confusing guns and bikes. Right, what can we boost here? Let's boost up higher education a bit. Let's increase the spending on higher education. Yep, up to excellent quality higher education. Libraries can have a little bit of extra money too. We just want to, US education could definitely be better in the world. So let's get people up to a good start in life with excellent quality primary education. This is going to be good, and more importantly, R&D, I'm going to whack it straight up to good. We're going to spend all that on good. We're going to spend some money now. We have all had to tighten our belts, particularly old people who are mostly now dead, so it doesn't matter. We've all had to tighten our belt, but as a result, we can now afford to splurge a bit of money. The government is very much liked by the people because I took those mean old guns away from them. Look at that crime rate. Could be better, but it's falling so rapidly at this point. Yeah. I'm going to edge up alcohol a little bit, which will help public health. Will just slightly impact, not much, just a 5 percentage point increase on that right there. Property tax, I think that's fine. Corporation tax at 35% is fine. Income tax, I don't want to touch now because it's such a. I mean, I'd love to just put it up by like 1% just to close that spending gap and give me a little bit more money to play with. But I feel like actually sales tax is the one that's low. That's 11% right now.
Yeah.
I feel like we could just edge that. I mean, that produces a quarterly income of 81. So I'm just going to put that up by just up to 15. Yeah. Still, I think reasonable. If I actually just 14, then we can implement a new law. Then over to the new law so we can write a new law. In fact, actually, this death penalty thing, Claire.
Yeah.
This death penalty thing.
It only costs 5.
5. Never allowed. Boom. Oh, abortion. Abortion. Always allowed. Yep, that was 1. So that's good.
Wow.
Yeah, everyone was.
That's amazing.
Everyone was good with that. And let's also get the. Let's just get. We can't get up to all, but let's get unions in a little bit better. Woo! There we go. So we got all that under control. We've got a 100% approval rating thanks to the fact that we abolished the guns, made the abortions and the vaccinations mandatory. But not mandatory abortions.
Oh
we didn't make the abortions mandatory. We didn't make the abortions mandatory yet.
Jon!
One child policy. One child policy.
There's a lot of people commenting on how that game really seems to be a little bit broken.
This game seems I agree. This game might be a little bit broken. GDP per capita just keeps going up. Like, okay, if income tax at 35% generates like $416 billion, then every percent would represent 1.3. No, every percent. Okay, that's 1.3% would be. No, way more than that. Okay, scrums. I'm just gonna increase taxes up by. I could put tax up to 75% with only half. I'm really popular. I don't want to do that. I just want to increase it to 37%. Up to 37% on average. This is fine. What other laws could I introduce that I kind of like the sound of at this point? Oh, prostitution. We like that one. Legalise that. And no punishment for it. Boom. Lovely. We'll get that done. We can now actually reduce the police budget. We can edge it back down again because now crime's much better than it used to be. So now we can edge it back down and still have more than enough to deal with the problems. Income has officially overtaken expenditure. From now on, we are paying down the national debt. We are fixing the roof while the sun is shining. The gross domestic product is just flying up. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Economic growth is still at a perfectly acceptable 1.2%. Unemployment rate is going down. I'm going to put 50 cents on minimum wage right now.
Yeah.
Going to put 50 cents on minimum wage. I think that's a good idea. Excellent. And I'm going in honor of our person who's currently giving birth and listening to us, I'm going to increase maternity leave.
Woo-hoo!
We're increasing that to 6 months from 3. I'm pretty confident now that we have run into this. This game is just slightly on the buggy side because we've just managed. Growth just jumped to 6.1%, which is exactly the same as minus 6.1%. It feels like there's just some weird wacky hard cap. So basically, every at this point, there's just daily parties where everyone just gathers outside the White House going, John, play. I hate Mondays on your ukulele. Yeah, the surplus is about about $150 billion. So at this point, we've now got $150 billion to piss up a wall on stuff I happen to like. You know what? Let's just kind of slightly increase that a little bit. Let's just kind of get Afghanistan conquered. That'll be not conquered, liberated. It's fine. There's no mandatory abortions, and we're not conquering anyone.
Great.
What about health, Claire?
Ooh.
What about that health thing that we've been discussing about? Health insurance right now is adequate. Well, let's get it up to. Let's get that up to good. Yeah, we got plenty of money, so now we can and we can also restore pensions a little bit.
Yay!
Just up to insufficient, not much. Unemployment benefits are adequate for the time being. We could introduce some family support. It's not much. We can't do that.
Well, maybe we can do it next turn.
Yeah, we can do it next turn. That's fine. So we've put a bit more money into education and health there, just to get the health of the nation ticking along, as everyone loves us and we've sorted the economy. Would you say this government has weaknesses? 70% people say no, 30% I don't know. Literally no one said yes. I'm going to keep the cost reduction going for health insurance, so healthcare is getting cheaper and cheaper.
Oh, no. The chat has decided now that we're calling it Health Claire because of what you said a minute ago.
Health Claire?
Yeah,
that's so cute.
Yeah.
The Health Claire plan.
Mm-hmm.
The most pressing issue right now is the budgets for bikeways is insufficient. Well, we can't...
You told us you didn't want us to do that!
It wasn't my fault. We tried to do everything. Over to the over to the space race. Over to the space program. The space program can have the space program can have good funding. We're going to Mars! Boom! The second most pressing issue on my entire agenda right now is the budget for long-distance heating. What even is long-distance
heating?
Infrastructure for long-distance heating, including pipelines and heating power plants. Okay, how would you like some money? Here, have some money, whatever the hell you are. Move straight on. Start with the elections. Time to see what proportion of the vote we get in these elections that we have just have. And the vote for us is 100% of the vote.
That feels a little bit North Korean, to be honest.
100% of the vote there.
That feels a little bit like
100%
dictatorship
of the vote. No, it was an entirely legitimate. The bikeways are insufficiently funded. Okay, bring it on. We're gonna spend the entirety of my political capital. This regime. We're just going to no. I've decided what we do need to do. Now the US is... No. Now that the US is fixed. Now that I've spent my first era fixing the US, you know what it's time for me to do now?
No.
It's time to go and fix Canada.
Oh, dear God.
It's time to go and fix Canada as well. So we're just going in to Canada. No, we're not going to nuke Canada. We're just going to invade Canada with airstrikes, ground supports, and we're going to support any Canadian rebels. As best we can.
Oh, John, don't.
Yeah.
Oh.
20%. Begin the conflict with Canada. We're gonna go and fix it. Conflict ended. We've just won Afghanistan. Afghanistan is now a satellite state, just in time for us to invade Canada. 100% of people agree with my invasion of Canada. There we go. Unemployment rate just fell below 4%. I've just fulfilled all my goals for this game.
Wow, amazing.
Excellent. Unemployment rate is improving.
So you've won at America is what we're saying.
Basically, I have... the game has officially just said you have won at America. One more thing we do actually need to do, which is we need to get our revenge. Our revenge...
What, on the Netherlands?
Against the Netherlands! We're going to airstrike the Netherlands and invade with... Not nuking. We now know that's a mistake. We're going to commit 15% of our armed forces that, while 20% is tied up in Canada.
Yeah.
So we're going to start that conflict. So right now we don't own any of Canada, but that's fine. That will take a little bit of time to do. It's going to take, because Canada's pretty big and pretty empty, but most of it's in the south anyway. So I think we should overrun it pretty quickly. And once you've taken Toronto, we've started the conflict with the Netherlands. That's absolutely fine. What is this government doing? Corruption rate not improving at all. It's already incredibly low. I'm 100% popular without bothering any PR. The surplus is still huge, which is great. How are we doing in Canada? We're slowly taking over Canada, but it's going to take some time. It's going to take some time. I'm going to actually increase the resources committed to Canada. Just because it's, you know, it's pretty important we take Canada. So 50% of the armed forces are now being sent into Canada, effective immediately, just to speed up that. But I think we should probably take over the Netherlands next turn. This situation's looking very, very good indeed, I'd say. Let's just throw in some extra laws just because we can at this point. In fact, you can have your little UBI if you want, which it's a really low level UBI, just 5%.
Yeah, sure. Although that might be what broke it last time.
That's a good idea. Let's not do that. Let's just store up some political capital for when we eventually need to take over all of Europe simultaneously. Canada's now a satellite state of ours. We just own that. How's the conflict doing? Hang on, how's the conflict with the Netherlands doing? I'm going to commit more strength to the Netherlands conflict. The Netherlands now belong to us. The income is actually ticking clearly upwards each turn as the economy grows.
We're taking all the money from the Netherlands.
Yeah, possibly because we're taking all. So now we now have 3 satellite states. How much for us to abolish democracy? Don't need to worry about any of this anymore. Because I feel like people would accept us with open arms. 80.
Thomas says he hates you.
Thomas hates me, does. Well, Thomas no longer has the right to say that, unfortunately. Thomas wants
to abolish democracy.
Thomas wants to be really careful what he says in this new, brave new world that we live in. Pick a country that you don't like. Have you ever been on like a bad holiday to a country? Or have you ever been to a country you went to Iceland and enjoyed that, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to conquer it for you.
Oh, that's very sweet.
It's going to be a Christmas present from me to you. You can have Iceland.
Well, I mean, surely that should be Australia.
Why do you want Australia?
Because there's a song in Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog where, like, he says something about giving Penny the keys to a brand new Australia.
Okay, I'll invade Oh, I'm sorry, is it not good enough for you to only have one country?
I mean, Iceland is good, right? Because it's very pretty, and it's also got, like, a really good spa.
Yep, and they also enjoy eating putrefied shark.
I don't have to have Australia.
Okay.
Could I please have the Shire?
New Zealand. You want New Zealand?
Yes.
Okay, that's acceptable. That'll be easier to take. Start a new conflict with New Zealand. You can have What do I do with Iceland then? Oh, is that for your birthday?
Yeah.
Yeah, because Claire's, your birthday's close by to Christmas, so you can have Iceland for Christmas and New Zealand for your birthday.
Woohoo.
That strikes me as eminently fair.
Yep.
Happy birthday, Claire! I got you Iceland.
Thank you.
I got you Iceland and New Zealand.
Thank you. That's lovely.
Oh, and also I've written a song for you on my ukulele. That's the. No, it's fine. No, get rid of the ukulele. It's fine. It's fine. And that means we only need to do one thing because approval rating's 100%. So I think it's time for us to officially march over the Rubicon and basically say we don't need to bother with any of this. So we'll just make that change nice and quickly. Get rid of this democracy BS because no one wants it anymore. And unfortunately, no one actually has any guns to resist. So, all hail King John! All hail King John! My approval rating slipped to 98%. 2% of people were worried about the fact that unfortunately a person came in, took all your guns, and then reinstated the British monarchy!
Woo!
God save our... Wait, hang on. God save our gracious King! God save our noble King! God save the King! That's the performance at the end of my inauguration as your new king! Yeah, that's right! It happened! Your newspapers tried to warn you, but you didn't listen! I took all your guns! And now there's a dictatorship and there's nothing you can do about it! The redcoats are everywhere! We brought them in overnight on a big ship and you didn't see! Ha! You stupid American colonial losers! Ha ha ha! We did it, Claire! We got America back! Oh, we got America back! This is how America dies to 98% approval, thunderous applause.
Will you hear from the people?
I don't need to anymore.
So, you have to buy me a $50 cake for my birthday is what I'm saying.
Oh, I absolutely will do. Oh no, boo.
What?
We lost.
You nuked France?
Well, you weren't looking.
you did.
The chat's going to be full of people trying to tell you about this. So there you are, ladies and gentlemen. After a shaky start, we ignored democracy, we ruined France. I was finally able to take back Britain. Sorry, no, I am Britain. I was able to take back America, and then we nuked France.
And Max said, very astutely pointed out that there are no more war crimes because you nuked the war crimes court.
That's true! That's a really good solution! So, we will wrap things up there. We'll be back next week with Rome Total War. But in the meantime, I've been John.
I've been Claire.
This has been Many a True Nerd. Thank you all so very much for joining us tonight, and goodbye.
Goodbye.
This is the face of death, okay? This is what my sudden death looks like. Do not engage before we arrive. Do not engage. What are you doing? I specifically said don't. Oh, no.
No, John.
Oh, he likes that. The Romans touched me.